Welcome to Phoenix's Rising Academy. I am Coach T. Your blessings are in your ashes. This is Deport Part 2. This time, I am grounding the lesson in one reference that matters, Dragon Slayer. Because if you watched it, you already saw the template. You saw the backstory. You saw the pact. You saw the hunger. And you saw what happens when something refuses to let go. Trigger warning for spiritual warfare, trauma, and possession themes. All right, now let's get into it. Let me plug my laptop in so we don't get cut off. Dragon Slayer is a lesson in backstory demons. Dragon Slayer shows something more people avoid. Some monsters have a backstory, not to excuse them, to explain how they turned. There is that arc where you see a demon's history, you see the abuse, you see the corruption, you see the moment it takes the wrong turn. Then you see the result, a being that survives by feeding. That matters because many of the things that attach to you are not random. They are hungry. They are unfinished. They are definitely fragmented. They are bitter. They are obsessed with staying alive through a host. Dragon Slayer shows you this clearly. Some entities keep a story, they keep a wound, they keep a pact, and then they look for a body. Fragmented human spirits and restless tethering. Here is the concept I'm teaching today. A fragmented spirit is a human soul that never integrated. It broke into pieces through trauma, abuse, addiction, violence, or hatred. So the person is alive, but the spirit is split. When the human dies, the split does not magically heal, it becomes restless. And a restless thing seeks a host. This is why I use the word deport, because you cannot negotiate with a parasite, you just remove it. Why they attach to the root, sacral, and solar plexus. I'm going to say this slowly because I want you to take this in. These are very important words that I'm about to speak to you. You need to understand how your chakra work and why demonic entities have to have you in a state of fight, flight, or freeze, anger, drug addiction, or even just you having a cocktail after dinner, right? They want you open so that they can attach, okay? So please take the time to listen and rewind it if you need to. They attach where it is easiest to control you. Root chakra is survival, safety, housing, money, stability, the right to exist. If your root is destabilized, you panic. If you panic, you comply. If you comply, you get harvested. Now, the sacral chakra is desire, sexual energy, creativity, pleasure, attachment, bonding. If your sacral is hijacked, you get pulled into obsession, cravings, unwanted arousal, because you have some succubi or incubi or a group of them that are attached to you, energetic bonding or lodging themselves into your attaching themselves to that chakra and into your organs. So for the sacral, it's the digestive system too, not just the womb. Okay. Creative shutdown, confusion about desire. And yes, some predatory people aim directly at the sacral chakra because it is a power center. If they can tether to there, they can keep you thinking about them. And even, I want to say this, and even if you're not thinking about them, you they are constantly obsessing over you consciously. So what they are projecting is their consciousness to you. I have had somebody who has repeatedly done the same ritual over and over and over again to attach herself to my sacral chakra. And I will say this, my loved ones are attached to my sacral chakra. And those who I don't love, even if they are in my family, your family members tether themselves, right? We all have when they cut that umbilical cord, right? There is still a bond between the baby and the mother. There is an etheric tether, an etheric umbilical cord. Some people consciously or unconsciously, out of fear of being abandoned, etc., will attach themselves to you, be they family members, be they people you don't know, which is why when you go into a building, you bless it. You bless the windows, you bless the walls, you bless the ceiling, you put your salt down, you put your red brick dust down, you do your blessings ritual, you do your binding, you have a Celtic rune sigil that or whatever kind of sigil that you do that's under your mat or that's above your door or inside, because when we're being housed and when we're working, especially too, because there's history and there are things that will attach, right? Because they have not transitioned, they're mad, they're bitter, whatever. They're mad because they passed away, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you know. And so they attach to that person, place, or thing. So, because when my fur baby Prosperity died, my daughter died, I was unalived, to be more honest. When she was unalived, my stomach was twisted in, I mean, like I couldn't eat. I could barely eat. I couldn't, it was like it was stuck. And I was buckled over, right? Her assassination, like just like my grandbaby's assassination, for these witches and warlocks, because they were tired of me telling my story. They were tired of me, not taking to their rituals because I was being obedient to the Most High God, and I was fasting and I was praying and I was working out and I was drinking water and I was eating one meal a day. You know what I mean? Because I was under constant attack, 24/7 surveillance, right? And I've told you guys stories that, and I still have this person that's the same person who has been harassing me amongst the others and gotten other people to harass me is absolutely, she again will do the same ritual over and over and over again, and I will constantly feel it because she's trying to bind herself to me because she feels if I can bind myself to you, I bind myself to your destiny. And I feeling her presence, right? It's kind of like you have some like it's like Men in Black, right? Where you have these entities that look human, or these entities that kind of envelop themselves over other, whether they be humans or an object or something. And that's what she's learned how to do, as weird as it sounds. One day I looked in the mirror and there she was. I was like, this is not what I look like, right? She also got me to appreciate who I was, because when you got a witch or a warlock who was in your energy, I mean, because they've penetrated your Taurus field, and it's not for the lack of anything that you've done. Some of them just go berserk because their obsession has gone far beyond um, the flesh. It's gone like far beyond. And this person, from in my case, is still obsessed to this day right now. Every morning that I get up, every night that I go to sleep, I have to rebuke, I have to bind, I even have to listen to frequencies to get this person and whoever else she's brought to the party to leave me alone, right? And I've said, hey, you're not taking up residency. And it's again, this is a disembodied, fragmented, you're a disembodied, fragmented spirit demon when you leave your material flesh. When you leave the earth, you become a demon because now you're not housed. So I can bind her, right? But when it starts getting to, I can bind that demon. I can bind when she becomes a spirit and she astral projects to me. She leaves her body and she comes and tries to hop into mine. And I mean, because I can feel I'm uncomfortable. This person has liver disease. This person has knee surgery. Like one time, I woke up in the early morning, and it was like she was laying on top of me. Imagine somebody in the physical laying on top of you. Well, she was laying on top of me. That's what my spirit mind, the vision in my head. I thought, who is this? Because I felt itchy. I felt just, and because she had been doing this, she's been doing this for 10 years. She's been, coming after me and other people, but she is absolutely obsessed over me. And because some stuff got sent back. But anyway, and I had to get out and I had to get up and I had to rebuke her. Right? I had to be like, hey, you have no rights to me. This is my body. I have no contract with you. I am the emperor and the empress of my domain, and you're being charged for violating me, and you're being charged for a squatter's fee for every second that you've been in my energy and that you've disturbed my peace. Right? It's to me, it's spiritual rape, and I'm not going to put up with that. Okay, but again, so she gets mad and she goes back to her flesh. Okay, so that's the thing. It's like, because I've asked, but I'm not the only one that she's violated. The reason why she keeps coming after me is because I'm the only one who has given the wisdom to deal with her, right? And eventually, I think she put herself in a psychosis doing witchcraft on me. And so eventually, one of these times, what's going to end up happening? She's attached her, then her and other people have attached themselves to my fur babies, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. But I wanted to explain, the power of your solar plexus, because my loved ones are attached to me. That's why it's like when something happens to your loved one, you buckle over, right? You, especially women, when something happens to their child, it's like, oh my God, they can't breathe, they can't eat, you know, everything just, and they buckle because the pain, the emotional pain, the energy is like, wait a minute, right? It's an intuition where I can, if I'm in love with somebody or meant to be tethered together, that's a different thing. But when you're tethered to toxic people, people who are sick, people who have cancer will attach themselves to earth angels and healers. They don't have to ask. I had somebody who attached themselves. She had fibroids. That's all I know. And there was three of them. And again, okay, I mean, you know that you're doing right. For unfortunately, you can always gauge when you're doing right when you start having people attached to you, right? And what I had too is them trying to butter me up. But anyway, it didn't really work. So the attach so this one female, I believe it was a female, but I believe it was two people. One was having heart failure and the other one was, I had cancer, and so or fibroids or something. So I saw it, and so when they were doing the ritual, they had done it twice, and that's when I saw the three lumps, and I was like, because I don't have it. See, that's what sometimes you have to know yourself, and you have to triage it, even though it's scary as shit. You have to triage it. You can't just say, oh gosh, um, this is happening, and by God, I need to go to the doctor and build up this big doctor bill, because I've had people attack me energetically with diseases or disabilities or anxiety, for instance, right? I've had them attack, because when you're dealing with the witches and warlocks who've been, this specific person has been doing it since she was 18 years old. She was groomed by the Nortanials, right? So they groomed. This is part of what they do to divide and conquer, is they use witchcraft, and so she's had a lot of practice, and I'm sure I challenged her to a point where she she had to ask. I mean, and unfortunately for this person though, she's not a natural, and she's only concerned with uh sorry, I had to get that mosquito. um she's only concerned with how people view her. She's not really, you know what I mean? It's not a basically it's not a part of her bloodline in that sense. Um, so let me see. Cool. Um, so they've been doing it for a while. And so again, I challenged her because, and she thought that I was going to be somebody that was going to be, malleable, because how would anybody know? Because if when you can gaslight somebody and say, hey, you're crazy, nobody's attaching to your chakras, nobody's trying to kill you, nobody's giving you sicknesses and diseases, nobody is going inside of your body and messing with your uterus or messing with your menstrual cycles or messing with your brain. I mean, I can tell you guys stories upon stories upon stories over the last 5 years of what I've dealt with people. I mean, and it's been crazy. But so yeah, so when you're dealing with these higher level witches and warlocks, and or somebody who is just can copy and mirror what somebody else tells them to do, because they're already out of their body, because they've already had that trauma, and they already don't want to be here, they always want to be somebody else, you know because of their diagnosis, their mental diagnosis. You'll run into stuff. But one time again, looking in the mirror, there she was, um, attacking my fur baby. I mean, Jiminy Crit, like, yeah. So when you know yourself, you can tell, hey, I have all of a sudden I was pooping and passing, my digestive system was just fine. I just felt it cinch up inside me. What is that? You know? And so to finish, I had them attacking my stomach, and something the intestine that's connected to my stomach. They were attacking that, and then somebody was trying to merge themselves and their fibroids with me so that I would heal them. I've also had a woman who would not have gotten through childbirth if she had not attached herself to me. If her, Megan's Law warlock boyfriend didn't do some stuff and attach to me. And actually, I was having monthly issues that I'd never had before. And I went in on him just automatically. And he had come in, right? And he had astral projected, and I could hear him say, fine, okay, okay, okay. And he had tied something, because what I saw with my spirit eyes, phoenixes. This is upper level. This isn't basic. This isn't the beginning, right, where you're building your foundation and you're learning about them on a basic level. I have a class that I do March. It's coming up March 14th at 10 p.m. It's a Google Meet. We'll go for 2+ hours, little over, just so people who need it. I'm taking up to 10 people because I like to keep my classes a bit small and intimate, and it's only $97 because I want you to have something that you're investing in yourself. You get the replay and you get a workbook that I created that you can always refer back to. You dig it? So, for those of you who are new, especially, and you've just left a narcissistic, abusive relationship, and your head's kind of spinning, like, what is this? So, I do these podcasts so that you can come back to it. We're all at different levels, you guys, and that's okay. I don't think I'm better than anybody. I just think that I was on a different timeline, right? And here I am just sharing with you because I love you and because of what I have survived that could have taken me out. And I know that hearing the stories of others that I've had sessions with, that they were like, I thought he was or she was going to take me out. It just I understand. So, but yeah, March 14th, Sealed to Healed is a 2-hour workshop online. You don't have, as long as you have Google account, you can, and I can send you the link. You can go to the meetup and just pay, the $97, and then within that will be your link will be emailed to you, and we're good to go, right? So, and then again, you get the workbook. It'll be a digital download. You'll get the workbook and you'll get a replay after it's all done. And I'll probably put as much, I am so much about information, because the more you know, the more wisdom, and the more God can say, okay, now let's go to this level, right? Let's go to that level. And it's spiritual based. I'm not religious, I'm spiritual based, and that may turn some people off, but I needed a big God, and I'm so grateful that I did not stick to the one that I grew up with, and that I just got to know God while I was on the streets. So anyway, yeah. So it's at 10 a.m. March 14th. It's on a weekend, excuse me, in the morning, and 2 hours. Hey, we're gonna have some fun, and we're gonna get to it. And because it's going to help you build a foundation. It's going to help you get free. It's going to help you live more authentically, and get rid of the character that they try to create you to be, to fit their ego. You know. So anyway, to finish up, so if you when you know yourself, you know when people are trying to hurt you, right? There's people who just project on you on the thought of you, you know they're saying, oh, what are you doing, da, 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 da. And if you're highly in tune, you're going to connect with that. I get where they say, well, what is it, the left ear um is people talking good about you, the right ear is people talking bad, but the right ear is also where your guide or your angel is going to talk to you too. And what witches and warlocks tend to do when they know that you're highly in tuned and highly protected is they want to confuse you. Okay. So anyway, this last part about the solar plexus. The solar plexus is your power, right? Boundaries, confidence, decision making, self trust. You got it, right? If your solar plexus is hit, you doubt yourself. You could doubt the Most High God. You doubt your intuition, right? You freeze, you second guess, you stop posting, you stop moving, you stop going to work, you stop trying to plan to do your own business or write that book or start that class, and that is the point, okay? Why they block the third eye or crown and throat chakra. So, which is the Vishuddhi chakra. So you have the Muladhara chakra, okay, which is Sanskrit, for your what we say the root, and then you have your Svadhisthana chakra, which is the solar plexus, okay, and then you have your crown, which is where all your wisdom comes from, right? We have the crown act, and where our hair, right? Like, who was it? Samson, and Delilah cut his locks off, and he became weak because they're energetic, right? You can always tell when you have something in your space. The hairs on the back of my neck not only stand up, but on the back of the nape, right on the back of my head, wherever this thing is going. Because I've had it where I was like, oh my God, ugh, where my hair is moving. And I'm like, okay, we don't do that. I've had the hairs on my forearms stand straight up, and it felt like somebody was just kind of um, sliding lightly down my forearm, their fingers on my forearm, but all my hair stood straight up. So We listen to it. But your crown, so when we got hairs on the inside of us too, and that's why when we sense danger, we got a gut feeling, because your gut is your second brain, right? Or your second, what is it? Yeah, second brain. And then you have your heart, whatever. And I was going to compare that, but I'm going to leave it alone. So, uh, why they block the third eye, crown, and throat is the third eye is discernment, pattern recognition, intuition, spiritual insight. They want to be invisible to you because they want to blindside you. They don't want you. They don't want you knowing what that they're coming. They want that satisfaction of seeing you freaked out, face, mouth contorted in shock and surprise and humiliation. That's what they're going to take a snapshot. That's the photographic memory kicks in, boom, and they'll go back and back to that and back to that and back to that and back to that. And then that becomes another issue, because once you start to get wise, they're always going to try and, it's a way of manipulating energy and manipulating your path, is trying to get you to go back to that so that they can continue with that, right? Um, so it is intuition, spiritual insight. If they blind the third eye, you cannot see the play. You cannot read the field. You cannot detect the lie early. Okay? You cannot trust your knowing. Crown is connection to God, direction, meaning, peace. If your crown is blocked, you feel cut off. You feel lonely. You feel abandoned. You feel like prayer is hard. You feel like you cannot rest. Okay? And I will share something again. Mind you, I've had a lot of experience. I've had witches and warlocks of a whole city in different factions, different covenants, take on the charge to take Coach T out before I was Coach T. And all of them felt that bitterness and could relate, and they joined in. It became a competition, because when you're dealing with toxic people, narcissistic, sociopaths, cluster B personalities, everything for them is a competition. My survival made it a competition. Okay. Um, So I have had someone who has, one time I'm looking at the TV on my laptop, right? I'm watching something, and all of a sudden I see this silhouette of a being, of a human, and I kind of hear and see a pop in my third eye. And I'm thinking to myself, but what is that a cork? Because it felt like they had broken something loose, like a cork. That's what it looked like, a cork. Like, what the hell is this? What is this now? Like, gosh dang it. Sometimes I'll just sit there and watch them, because I'm like, what are you doing now, you nutbag? So somebody was trying, was, I guess, my I don't it or I think it was representing my pineal gland, but it was like they were trying to take it out, or I guess they thought that they were going to take it out. If they could imagine taking it out, it would be taken out, or I don't know, but it was on my forehead, and whatever, and I was like, and I heard it, and, and it was brownish, but it didn't look like the gland itself. It looked like a cork. And then as far as my crown goes, I've had somebody who they use their in the astral realm, they expand themselves and envelop their energy body around me to shut everything off and down, because this person is dead, right? When we say, so when a lot of us, again, as a empath, earth angel, healer, alchemist, transmuter, um, we have an advantage because we can see. what they're doing. Like I said, I've had these guys screw with my digestive system since I got up off the streets. You know, I mean, I've watched them do it. I've watched them in the spirit realm with my spirit eyes. I've seen silhouettes of them do, certain people do. I mean, I had some guy was trying to lynch me, right? Another guy was laying down with me when I got up, and I noticed because he couldn't close his bottom lip. You know how people will like stick out their, pull down their bottom lip, and you see the teeth and the gums and stuff. Well, he had that permanently, and I kept getting it, I kept getting it, I kept getting it, and I was like, I asked the Most High, I was like, why do I keep? What is this? I thought it was my old roommate. And he said, and so eventually I got to see that guy in the flesh. So when they were gathering and with their covenant, I don't, whatever the Nortanians do, that, when they're Satan worship or whatever they're doing, they do a lot of rituals though. When I was experiencing what I was experiencing, there was a lot of ritualistic shit that they were doing. And because like I said, I had one guy who had wrapped a noose around me and was, trying to strangle my neck, and I could feel it on my neck. He was trying to hang me. And mind you, this was a Latino. Both of them were Latino, and so not okay. But because a lot of times you don't know how somebody is. Some people who want to do the most evil things to you don't give off that vibration. And the reason why they don't give off that vibration immediately is because they like it. They're calm with it. They don't have empathy. So empathy is not going to bring fear, right? It's not going to bring second guessing, right? It's a way of life. This is how they've done it. This is, you know what I mean? And that's it. So, yeah. So I've had people block my crown, block my third eye, do rituals on it so I don't see because they're so tired of me winning. I mean, I've had death spells done on me that have never taken. Thank you, Most High, because, and this is also the benefit of having some type of spiritual practice. you know I've had people do the same rituals or try and bind the same diseases and disabilities, to me, and it doesn't belong to me. And I have to say, it's like, nope, this is not mine, this is yours. And that's the power of clearing your chakra too. Not only making those declarations that, hey, this is not mine and I will not accept it into myself or my bloodline, right? So when you make those declarations and decrees, they can't, because you're already saying this is a false contract and you are breaking spiritual law. You're doing it, number one, behind my back. You're doing it behind a curtain. And if I wasn't aware of it, you wouldn't you would be doing this. And so you get people who are in disbelief because they're toxic and they're cluster B anyway. And so they're in disbelief and they're going to keep coming at you, keep coming at you, keep coming at you, keep coming at you. Because, and some of them will go and walk away, right? But I've had many of people that have been like, well, you still owe me and da da da, because that's the only attention that they've gotten in most of their life is through revenge on somebody else. And then they meet other people who get revenge on other people who have done nothing but protect themselves, right? We are in a time now, Phoenixes, where good is, well, we've always been, but it's like it's set in stone, right? Like what is good is bad to unhealthy, toxic, cluster B people. And we're still here with, what is, because anybody can argue that it's subjective, but you will know them by their fruits, right? You will know your actions, right? As in the fruit that it produces. So when I go into my kitchen and I say, I'm going to make a pecan pie, okay, and I get all those ingredients and I start putting this together, I start conjuring, okay, and then when I go in there, when I put it in the oven, it comes out, we let it cool, we eat it. You can tell, right, by my fruit. This is the fruit. The end result is the fruit. Did I cook it well? Did I put enough sugar or salt in there? Did I put enough, pecans? Is it the right mix? Is it, is how is the crust, right? So it's the same thing, right? When you know that you're, especially when your intentions is to do somebody harm, you can't go without that. You know that your intention is to do somebody harm. And with narcissists and cluster B personalities, and even their flying monkeys, they still have to hide. The fact that you have to hide that you want to do stuff to other people, and that you have to hide it through, well, they did such and such and such and such, but you don't want anybody to come to that person that you're accusing and contradict you. There's something wrong, right? So anyway, um, the benefits of going to the From Sealed to Healed workshop March 14th at 10 a.m. Is going to help you build up your arsenal of wisdom and knowledge, and how to defend yourself and how to heal yourself, and from other things that may have they have, the narcissist or the cluster B personalities and their flying monkeys may have attached to, because they like it when you're weak and they like it when you're down because you're pliable. Okay, so let's get into the throat chakra, Vishuddhi chakra. Throat is truth, it's voice, testimony, naming, reporting. If you've ever noticed, if you've ever been a survivor of gang stalking, Phoenixes, that when you are being gang stalked, they don't want you to know their name. They try and hide it. Even when you're dealing with somebody who's trying to make you a side piece, right? And which is, which is what people who are cluster B personality oriented, which is a character disturbance, right? That's character. You can't have, like, the situation that I experienced just not too long ago was a guy who's already married, has a girlfriend who's or a wife, that she said that he's her husband. He didn't say that though. He was hiding that fact that he had a girlfriend, or excuse me, a wife. And I'm so used to others not wanting to admit that, hey, I got this family. And the only time that I've seen them experience them admit, oh, I got this person, is when you reject them. It's like, well, I didn't want you anyway. Well, but you were stalking me the whole time, right? So anyway, yeah, this is, when there's somebody's trying to make you a side piece, they shut. It's like they shut that aura down. They shut their spirit down so that you can't read them, right? So even though we deal with these people face to face, we have to go into the spirit realm. Phoenixes, we have to go into the spirit realm, because if we don't, we're still going to possibly be victimized by the same type, or maybe even worse type of cluster B personality. And I don't want that to happen to you. Stick with your faith, keep with your faith, but ask for wisdom, because it's these guys work in the energy, uh, in the spirit, and it just manifests outwardly into the flesh. Right? Okay, so if they choke the throat, you do not speak, right? If you can't name who they are and call it out, if you can't say, oh, you're using word salad, right? And then that doesn't dull it down, or you've mischaracterized me and I'm not going to play that game. If you're not going to do the investigation, then don't ever threaten me ever again. You see what I'm saying? You come with power, not this tyrant kind of power, but just with power and authority in your authenticity and in your spirit, in your bottom line. Okay? So if you do not speak, they keep operating. Silence is safety for predators, right? That's why you see everybody, we watch these documentaries and these movies, as people say, don't tell. They told me if I told, they were going to do something to my family or me, da 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 da, right? They're always trying to keep you silent, and they will try and just uh, uh, take your take your voice. Okay, That is why you feel strangled when you are about to tell the truth. For me, when I'm around somebody who doesn't want to hear me, and that's what it is. There's a demonic entity, a force that they're projecting when I come into the room and they see me. I've seen the glint in people's eyes. I've seen the narcissistic squint, and all of a sudden their energy changes and they start talking loud. Some of them, or the inflection in their voice kind of peaks and then it kind of levels out. But when they see you as a divine being, knowing that you can see through them, they get scared and immediately they'll come to you because they want to distract you. They want to, all of a sudden they start the process of getting you to react, right? I'm going to abuse you. I'm going to talk down to you. I'm going to block your path. I'm going to be annoying because I know you if if you say something to me, I can then say, oh, well, that was kind of rude. I didn't mean that. Right? They're trying to set up the stage for you to fall. But when you don't, right? You don't, and because you have your tools, you can just go into your cabinet and pick out, whatever weapon you need, because now you got this, in your arsenal. And they usually kind of just sit there staring at you, you know. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense to you guys. So how you deport. Chakra clearing is maintenance. Deport is not one speech, it is a practice. You clear your field like you clean your kitchen, not once, consistently. That's just like if you want to lose weight, right? Because like I know I'm 100 pounds on me of narcissistic weight, because of the lifestyle that I had before. And I'm not gorging myself. Well, let me say, I'm not, I'm eating because I get to cook and I'm so happy about that. But um, when you want to lose weight, it's not these diets. It's, you know what I mean? You want to lose it fast, you're going to do whatever you think that you can do, whatever fits. But I started losing weight and then it was stopped. I started losing weight just walking. I would walk 4 miles, a brisk walk, right? Because I had my pity. When my fur daughter was alive, Prosperity, she was like, let's get it. Because we were so cooped up and stuff, but I was so tired. My nervous system was like, we're on overdrive as it is, right? But I didn't, I wanted to, she didn't deserve that. My two fur babies, my grandbaby and my other daughter, Hazel, she didn't deserve that, right? And so I wanted to give them something. And so we would go for 4 mile, anywhere from 3 to 4 miles. Okay, we just walk, and it was the most. Um, it was the most because we would do that every single day, and of course my blood sugars balancing out. What was I going to say? My metabolism was bad balancing out because everything's is coming. Everything's is it's like it's consistent, and I wasn't overeating. I was just, what I mean. I'm just eating, right? And I love Asian food. Like just I that's the way that I eat, and so and I had a lot of curry, right? Meat curry. Sometimes I do a vegetable curry, whatever. And but I started to tone up because of the consistency. Okay. So you clear your field like you clean your kitchen, not once, but consistently. Basic chakra clearing actions you already named. And this was when I had said what I do for. So salt baths, fasting and clean eating as much as you can, right? Just sometimes just getting fiber into your life, right? I got this Armor Hammer from this herbal essence that I got on TikTok, or I went to their site and bought it. But it's yummy. Movement to discharge energy, hydration, drinking water, getting some Gatorade, getting your electrolytes up, sleep protection, reducing contact and exposure, right? I have reduced my time with people because it's hard to deal with people. All right. If you only do spiritual commands but keep the doors open, the tether returns. If you only do practical steps but never cleanse your field, you stay heavy. And this is why I teach you both. If you guys have been in share well sessions with me, then you know how to deport the Bagalamukhi mantra. So the first type of deportation of demonic entities and succubus and incubus that are, which are leviathan lust spirits that are attaching to you, that are nosy. I mean, they've basically lost all humanity, and they may still have their flesh and there's something else. So the clearing of the chakras, lung, vang, rang, hung, or yang, that's your anahata chakra, which is your heart chakra. And then hung is your vishuddhi chakra, which is your throat chakra. But the lung is the muladhara chakra, or your root chakra. And Vang is your Svadhisthana chakra, okay? Um, your Manipura chakra is a Rang, and then your Anahata chakra, or your heart chakra, Hang, right? And then your Vishuddhi chakra, Hang, and then your Agniya chakra, which is your pineal gland, right? Is and you just try and hold that, right? And then you got your crown chakra, which is your Sahasrara chakra. And Sahasraraim, 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 Sahasraraim um, is one of them. One. And then, but I usually say for the Sahasrara, Ogum Sacham Om, Ogum Sacham Om. And I'm going to do a class on that, but I have to get enough people who are willing to take that leap. It doesn't, whatever else you do, it's not, it's the only thing that it's going to interact with negatively is negativity. These are mantras. These Vedic mantras actually do what they say that they're going to do. If somebody is blocking your finances, there is a mantra. Narayanaya vidmahi vasudevaya dhimahi tanno Vishnu prachodayat. There's also a Lakshmi and a Narayanaya mantra too. So don't lose this information. If you guys want more information, okay, you can email me, DM me, get to go. I got Twitter, I got YouTube. Just send me an email and we'll get to it. Sign up for the newsletter too. Okay, so let's get to this. So this is the second way to deport, and actually use these in combinations because this is always going to help you. So how to deport the Bagalamukhi mantra? Bagalamukhi is a stop negative frequency. So basically, if somebody is going to harm you, it shuts it down. It turns it right back around on them. This is used to stambhana, which means to paralyze harmful speech and harmful intent. Stambhana. It is about shutting down attacks, binding the mouth of the adversary, and cutting interference. So here is the mantra. Om Hrim Bagala Mukhe Sarvadashtanam Vacham Mukham Badam Stambhaya Jivam Khilaya Buddhim Vinashaya Khairing Om Svaha. One more time. Om Harim Bagala Mukhi Sarvadoshtanam Vacham Mukam Badam Sambhaya Jivam Kilaya Buddhim Vinashaya Hurting Om Svaha. One more time. Om Harim Bhagala Mukhi Sarvadoshtanam Vacham Mukam Badam Sambhaya Jivam Kilaya Buddhim Vinashaya Hurting Om Svaha. All right. And if you hear me saying it, repeat it in your mind's eye. And once you start getting this, because it's called a train mantra, because it has many lines, okay, many seed sounds that add up to a whole speech. It's kind of like we have our alphabet, right? So use it with discipline, not fear, not a performance, but a spiritual enforcement. Because I've said this, and with witches and warlocks in mind, right? Because so what you have, if you know who that person is, get a picture of them in your mind and say this mantra, and because it's not going to work. Because when you say it, if you have ill will towards somebody, it's going to also claim you. This is a Bagalamukhi Devi is a form of Kali, Makali. Okay. All right. So the deport command here is a direct command you can use aligned with what has already been, the examples have already been said. In the name of Jesus, you do not have the right. I remove you now from my being throughout all timelines, realms, and dimensions. I bind you and banish you from me, my family, my loved ones, my home, and my bloodline until the end of your existence. Amen and Ashe. Asheo to close it. Okay. So I'll say it one more time. Just write it down. I'll say it slowly. In the name of Jesus, you do not have the right. I remove you now from my being throughout all timelines, realms, and dimensions. I bind you and banish you from me, my family, my loved ones, my home, and our bloodlines until the end of your existence. Amen. And Ashe and Asheo. All right. Why you may have to repeat it. Some attachments are not a single event, some are a campaign. If a person is obsessively tethering to you, it can become repetitive. That does not mean you are powerless. It means you enforce boundaries daily. Deportation is not just removal, it is maintenance. And I know this because I've complained a little bit to the Most High, like, oh my God, can you please? Can you please? Because I have fasted, I have done everything. And again, they see it as a competition. So every time they say, oh, you're winning, but it's not a competition if I've moved on with my life and I don't even know your name, your number. If I'm forgetting who you are, it means that there's nothing and you're doing too much. But anyway, hopefully this helps somebody. And I love you, Phoenixes. Thank you. If you're still around here, still here with this, then please hit the like, subscribe, and share button. Share this with people who are just getting out of toxic relationships, and share this with people who even are doing peer support or whatever, maybe, and dealing with clients that may seem odd in what they're going through, if you can relate, right? So here's the workshop again. From Sealed to Healed is on March 14th at 10 a.m. And this is a workshop that covers trauma, trauma education about cluster B personalities, their tactics, right? Stuff that I go over. And then on the second part of it, it's a two-part. The second part of it is, healing yourself. So you're not giving these demonic entities a foothold into who you are, right? Because they'll exploit it. If you got a daddy or a mommy wound, they're going to exploit it. If you haven't been in a relationship for 10 years because you're afraid to go out there because you just keep getting hurt and you keep running into these toxic people, they're going to exploit it. They're going to, hey, no, that's why nobody likes you anyway, da, 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 right? So that's what we're going to be talking about, right? And amongst other things. So, I love you guys again. Thank you so much. I'm going to have some links in the description. And also, you just got to sign up for the newsletter. I created a game to test your wisdom as far as, identifying cluster B personalities. Okay. Just little games out there. Love AI. So, from the ashes we rise, from the soul we heal, we lead. Thank you for joining Phoenix's Rising Academy with Coach T. Please again subscribe and visit the links in the description, and I'll see you next episode. I love you.